Ready then?
Yep.
Apologies and reasons given. Anything else, Bill?
We've got apologies from Councillor Rachel Flood and Councillor Eddie McNally. Councillor McNally is for medical reasons and Councillor Flood is volunteering elsewhere. Okay.
I'll propose it.
Yeah, I'll second.
Declarations of interest?
Agreed, was that all agreed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
None?
Minutes of the previous meeting? Are we happy to agree?
Mm-hmm. I'll second.
I'll sign.
Thank you. Thank you. Initial. Sign and date.
I don't know what that is.
6th. No. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Initial.
I've got to that bit, yeah?
No, this is for last month. This is
Oh,
for the
okay.
minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
That's approved, isn't it? Transactions for payment.
Are we reviewing the 10 first and then agreeing?
Well, there are. There's anything out of the ordinary on there, is it?
Particularly, well, I can see.
What's the two Chalmers ones then? For the mower?
They are for a belt and spare belt, and that was ordered before the new policy came in,
Okay.
but they didn't arrive in until afterwards. It's all that inclusive, obviously.
Yeah.
That list.
South London District Council, fees?
That was for the planning for
For the windows. Okay.
Mhm.
The printer cartridge, is that the spare?
That was the black one.
Oh, is that the black one?
And I'm still waiting to order
Order
a
more in
whole
bulk.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And the rates, I presume, is for 4A.
Yeah.
How many are we up to now?
4.
3. Isn't that one? Oh no, you asked about the.
Yeah.
So,
I presume the £8 is for the asbestos.
yeah.
It's the sundries one for industrial maintenance supplies.
That is for the box of WD-40.
Okay.
So we've got them here now. So
I thought you were getting them from Amazon.
that's they do come from Amazon,
Okay.
but they're not supplied direct.
Yeah.
Yes, through a company and then.
Yeah, it's a company that sells on Amazon. Yeah.
The sundries from Hargraves, 111.
That is for ideal grip large gloves, toilet rolls, a 40 pack, and a 6 pack of blue paper roll, you know, the workshop
Mhm.
roll.
Okay,
We're only in the workshop now.
so from the, are we now going to order toilet rolls for both sites
In bulk.
from now on?
Yeah.
I know you've already ordered
288.
yeah, so there should be no more
That's
need to do.
No, should need to go out and buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Same as that blue paper. It's cheaper to buy it in Oh,
Yeah,
So we need blue paper for, or is that not the, that's not like the paper towels one, is it? That's the proper
It's
roll?
the proper
there's a
roll.
proper roll,
Yeah.
yeah. We have the blue paper towels here, which I'm not sure of,
Hmm,
but there's nothing else we can do during COVID, so.
yeah. That's fine.
tea and coffee.
Tea and coffee, Tesco,
Okay,
all
cool.
here. The cheapest one they sell.
£3.65.
Just for you and Brandy. Because you never get offered a drink, do you? Well, I felt like I did last time.
Yeah, £3 for a large jar of coffee and 65p for sugar.
Is that 10 then?
Are we up to 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh dear.
Mind you did ask about the toilet rolls.
Yeah.
9.
Why don't we buy some black sacks from One Stop?
The black sacks from Ideal 365.
No, One Stop.
There's another one from what, yeah.
Right. Yes, the black sacks were on order,
Yeah.
and then we ran out here.
Mm.
Okay, so
we
you have to
had
go buy some.
Yeah, we didn't have any choice, so
I'll do them.
we had some delivery issues with the black sacks. They didn't all arrive, so.
I'm happy to propose them.
1 second.
Do you agree, Rick?
Yeah. Credit card statement. 11.62.
It's due on the 14th, which is the day it will be paid, but because it's over 1,000, we couldn't do it by delegated powers,
Right.
but that should be fine.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So, please,
Me.
I'll put you second, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 20 quid will be for the tractors, won't it? On the bucket card, £19.79.
It was for fuel, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to propose at some point going forward that
Mm-hmm.
we buy fuel from here
Mm-hmm.
rather than drive all the way to what loads of people. It just seems silly to me.
Yeah. There's not much price difference as well?
No, hardly anything.
Right, yeah,
Hardly
there's
anything.
one.
Back rack. All checked out.
Bank reconciliation. So, we have, that is the figure on Barclays.
Yeah.
That's that there. The deposit is that,
Yeah.
plus, this is where you've got to add the two together because I've,
Yeah, you won't have a new
funds,
account.
funds. CCLA is that,
Yeah.
which is that. And that's no change, that one, 57,945. Everybody happy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you sign that there. Could I have a proposal for second?
Yep.
And the investments we're going to look at further down the line, aren't we? Make
Yeah.
an appointment and look at those.
No, when I come back, I'll,
Yeah.
it's fine, yeah. Thank you.
Moving on then.
Mm-hmm.
Review of July payments and outstanding receipts. And a budget review.
Which one are we doing first? We're going to do payments, receipts and budget?
It doesn't really change, does it? Because we've already approved the payments, haven't we? In
Mm,
previous
yeah,
months,
yeah.
so do we
The
need to
ones
review
you
the
don't
payments?
see are the ones that are paid by direct debit.
Yeah.
So you see there,
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of South Holland District Council, the bins at Hallgate,
Yeah.
There's nothing out of the ordinary on there, though, is
no,
No. Yeah, it's just the direct debit ones that we
Yeah.
don't normally see, isn't it? So that's fine. Yeah. But then they're standard ones that just repeat over and over again, so there's nothing outstanding.
We've had some of those outstanding sales invoices paid now.
Right.
The top one is
Mhm.
something I've got to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not getting any response, so
It's for an allotment.
yeah.
Well, that's got to be a final threat letter, isn't it? If you're not getting any response.
Brandy's looking in and I've asked her to do a document showing the law and what we can and can't do. So
Yeah, just a bit,
Yeah.
yeah, got it there.
for the next open spaces meeting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And and just the budget then.
We did go through it, didn't we? And we kind of,
Yeah.
because of the way we did the budgeting, of some things are kind of just sort of carried over from last year, haven't they? And then we haven't really used them. It's kind of got a bit jiggled up.
It shouldn't be, because the budget was put in quite accurately. So it's
Yeah.
split between months.
But like, sometimes we've budgeted for, where was it? I think when we done like, email system, but then we've also budgeted for like the, computer equipment and licensing.
Yes.
And we've spent it from one but not from the other because we've
Yeah.
changed over systems and things like that. So we went through and just tried to find out what pots of money you kind of got but are not going to be used. We've got a lot of tree work that we budgeted for but it hasn't been used yet.
19,000.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we did the other night, the
It's
graduate,
going
didn't
to
we?
be- Yeah, I think you find it's going to be.
Yeah. At 19's not going to be enough from what Rachel was saying. But we had a tree survey
To
done.
be fair, that's, I mean, yes, there are still some that are outstanding.
There's 4 apparently.
Yeah, but
there's
most
minor
of
work
which
that really
our
is-
staff were happy to tackle.
But they haven't done them though, have
No, because
We're going to do
it
the
was
back
too
end of the
late
year.
in the year to start cutting them, and because of the issues with the licensing around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chainsaw, there wasn't, the staff hadn't got the correct licence in
Yeah, yeah,
place
yeah.
to be able to do the work that they needed to do. So the idea was that they would start to do some of these at the end of the year.
But
So-
most
So
of
this
it,
is, from what Rachel said, this has been going on for 4
but a lot
years.
of
Yeah.
them have been tackled
Yeah.
since then, and the majority of the tree work that was left was mainly sort of minor pruning. There was one that's got like dead wood and stuff in it.
There's one
But
in
it's
the
not-
churchyard that needs to come down apparently.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that has got to be tendered for.
Yeah.
But
because
there's
there is no way
not-
that we can.
No.
There's not many trees that have got like major work they need doing that need
Because
to
it
come
might be
down.
one of the fish ponds as well, I think. At the back end of fish pond.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been on the
That was not the
survey.
true report.
No, not on the tree report.
Well,
It's
my
not
concern-
been, it's not been deemed unsafe by a person that's done the full
Yeah,
tree
yeah.
report, but there are there's work that needs to be done in all of the
Yeah,
areas.
yeah.
But there's not many major, the major ones that were urgent that needed to come down have been dealt with, weren't they?
Yeah.
There's not many left.
Rachel still thinks she thinks there's 4 to come down.
There's not four
No.
to come down.
Okay.
There's one in the cemetery that needs to come down. There's one in the cemetery that needs dead wooding.
Yeah.
There's one in the park that needs cutting back quite severely.
Oh,
Yeah,
Holiday.
not, yeah, sort of some of the branches are very heavy and
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
to reduce the weight.
Mm.
One needs to be reduced in height significantly,
Yeah.
so that was going to come down. And then there's the one in the churchyard
Yeah.
that we weren't entirely sure, I think I know which one it is, but that is no way that
Still virtual,
we're not going to tackle. Oh no, that's another small one at the front,
Okay,
which is easy
That
for
would-
us
that
to
would-
tackle. We could do that one easily.
okay,
But there's a massive one at the back
yeah,
that I believe has got some issues,
okay,
and that would have to be attended for.
all right. The only thing that worries me is if we've had the tree report, and we
Mm.
haven't really done anything as such.
We
Well,
have
we've done some.
We've done some,
But-
but yeah, we do need that tree report now is old, and
Yeah,
actually
sounds
we
like
need
it.
another tree
Yeah,
report
yeah.
next year.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we budgeted plenty we budgeted more than we would need for tree
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Because the majority of the tree work can be done in-house.
Yeah.
There was very few that really needed to be done
Right,
out-house. Because even some of the ones that needed to come down, as long as we keep them at least 6 foot above the ground, then we can do it in-house.
right.
So it's fine.
If the
If
park
we-
manager wants to do it.
Well, we need to, it would have to be a
It's
two-man
got
job
to,
anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be dependent on what happens, you know,
Yeah.
recruiting wise.
Yeah,
But if that is successful, then we would be able to tackle on that over the winter months.
okay.
So you would potentially need to spend some of that money.
Hmm,
But
If
probably not all of
If we
it.
haven't got the staff, then you would spend a lot.
yeah, yeah. I just think if, we've been told, and something happens in the
Mm.
future and we haven't done anything,
Yeah.
Yeah,
then we're liable, aren't we? So
Yeah, well, yeah.
if there's anything that needs to come down health and safety, we should just go ahead and do it.
yeah. I think
It
there was,
might be.
there's 4,000 in the closed churchyard, there's 7,000 for the nature reserve for tree work, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Which I don't think, there's a lot of cutting back work and stuff to be done in the nature reserve and general maintenance, but not a lot of
Not
tree
not
work,
big trees.
not
No,
major
no.
tree work, so, yeah.
Your biggest ones are in the park and
Hmm,
close churchyard.
Yeah.
And the ones in the park are along the main footpath.
okay,
So again, it would need to be closed down. It's got to be done at a time when it's not busy.
yeah,
Mm.
So trying to do it any time now would be silly. It needs to be waiting until
So
later.
it'll be a winter job,
Yeah,
isn't it?
winter
Mm.
job, really.
Yeah,
that side of the park closed off for the public.
Yeah.
yeah, so,
So what I'll do, with what you were saying about the email system, I'll remove the budget from there and pop it into IT.
yeah,
And
because I
then
think there was
move the figures from there into IT so that we've got it in.
yeah, because there was a couple of them where it's just like, you budgeted
Yeah.
probably about 2,000, and then in the actual payments it's 0, so it's gone somewhere else. But yeah, we just went through and, I mean, there's some stuff that we're not spending, because obviously we changed over IT systems, so we are saving money.
If you look
yeah.
at grants, I updated it, it's not on here,
Okay.
I updated it earlier. So we budgeted 500 for Operation London Bridge,
Mm-hmm.
but we actually only spent £18.72.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we've got a few hundred.
I think
For
that,
Bridgeford,
No, it's for the.
this one's the equipment.
I think the thing is, because we've got some projects like, we've got work at the pavilion, we've had the asbestos stuff that we've had to deal with, a bit of a kind of mopping up of the budget to see where those little
Yeah, yeah,
gaps are,
Yeah.
yeah.
to work out how much we are actually over.
Well, we're going to need to Dagenham Borough, aren't
Yeah,
we, to get
Yeah.
the million work.
but I think there's enough little kind of gaps there that
Mm.
you've got some funds available.
But I know the pavilion's on the next on the list, but I don't think it's going to cost them.
No,
It's not going to be multiple thousands,
no.
I wouldn't have thought. It's only sockets, isn't it?
Well, it's
Bit of
how much
insulation
you
work.
want to do, because you've got bringing it up to scratch to kind of work as a basic function,
Yeah, yeah.
or you've got kind of developing it further into a proper workspace, but it depends how far you're going to go at the moment.
I think-
At the moment, it's just bringing it up to scratch, really, isn't it?
Well, it's got to be compatible with working standards, isn't it? So
Yeah. So,
So we're happy with the other one then? July payments, that's standard receipts?
yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And second.
Quotes for the...
No.
Sorry.
You agree?
Yes. Seems to throw off the track now. Quotes for the refurbishment of the pavilion in Dartmouth. So I think we should go ahead and do that.
We need, I mean, it's mainly electrical, isn't
I've
it?
had one company come out to quote,
Right.
and I've got to get another two to have a look.
Is that just for the electrical side of it currently?
That's all I've asked for. is
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah.
fine. Because the rest of it pretty much would be stuff that we could potentially manage to do ourselves.
Yeah, the painting and things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
clearing, painting.
Yeah,
Knocking
Putting
the
it-
holes through.
Well, that may or may not happen at this
Yeah,
stage.
that's
That could
a
happen later on.
Wish
maybe.
list.
Yeah,
Really, isn't it?
and wasn't one of the toilets needed some work?
Yeah, I think it would just.
There might be some plumbing work to
a little
do,
bit, but nothing
Yeah.
major.
Okay.
but it could function as it is. The main thing is to clear it out and get the
Yeah.
storage in there so you can utilise it better.
Have
And
a
then,
have a proper station for them to have, food and
Yeah,
prepare it
yeah.
where
We
it's
have a clean surface at night, something.
yeah, which you've got the space, you just need to kind of,
You also want something for drying clothes as well, don't you, in the
Yeah.
winter?
So heating of some sort,
Yeah.
so that would come under the electrical side
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things, we could get
Yeah.
electrical people.
Definitely. And I think if we can show that we're doing it to the new employee, probably got more chance of them staying, because at the moment, if they went in there, they'd probably run a mile, wouldn't they?
yeah.
As a temporary, if it's not ready and we have
Come
a
here.
member of staff, they can come here
Mm.
to use toilet facilities,
Yeah.
etc.
And
And have a
Yeah.
restroom,
Yeah.
because they can use a small meter room.
Yeah, if this room's in use, then they can use the small meter.
So that we can make it work.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
right, can I have a proposal then?
Yeah,
please?
I'll propose that.
Mhm.
Seconder.
Yeah, I agree.
Next one, to agree to recommend to full council the purchase of a postal borer. Rachel's left a message about this. The Jan's done some pricing up, haven't you? Which I don't know if you've all seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel says it's too expensive. And I think if you spend half of what she's saying,
Yeah.
because she's saying half of that will be enough, isn't she?
It
I
depends.
think you're going to end up with something cheap and nasty.
Yeah, well, we did buy one before and it wasn't land enough.
But I think it was about 100, 200,
190,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the prices you've got kind of the mid-range, they're not like the massive ones that you can get.
What I did was I asked the current hire firm we use
Yeah.
exactly what we normally hire
Hire.
from them and the bits that we normally hire. Then I did the comparable
I
machine.
mean, they're all coming out at similar price, and again, we did speak to the parks team, didn't we? About, if we had one, we would be using it more than we hire it out,
Oh,
because
yeah,
you could use it for additional work,
Yeah.
especially in Hallgate and Netherfield, the ground is not brilliant with digging.
You get your money back in a
So
couple of years.
you'd easily use it enough.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't just save money from hiring it out, it saves man hours as well,
Mhm.
doesn't it? So,
So I propose we go ahead and buy one.
are we budgeting for it for next year, or are we?
We
We
have,
can look
Find
to
a
see
way.
what.
we have still got money in the budget at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah, I think you need to review where you're.
Yeah, because we've really massively overspent on play equipment.
Yeah.
So we just need to reassess, which is if we can sort of by next meeting, if we can have a bit of more of an idea of
Mhm.
where we've got
Yeah.
not lots, but
Yeah.
pots of money that
Yeah.
is not
Going to be used.
likely to be spent.
Yeah, yeah, then we
this-
can
in this
unbore that
financial-
out.
Yes, exactly, and then we know where we can actually
Yeah.
take it from.
Yeah, so can I have a proposer and a seconder then? Oh, I've got a proposer, sorry, Rick, can I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
Isabel Green?
Yeah.
So the next one's for the chair. I don't really understand why we have to put this before council, because aren't we allowed to spend X amount of money without approval?
Emergency
Yeah.
spend of up to 500.
Yeah, well, this chair's only going to be 80 quid.
Can I ask, have you got a new chair yet, Jan?
No.
You need one as well. Because
Yeah.
you have
If
issues
we're
with
gonna
your
buy
back and you need to
Yeah.
have a proper chair
Yeah,
that
well,
is
along
going
with
to
the
be
support chair,
suitable
don't
for
you?
you.
Mm.
So, yeah, if we're doing it, we're doing it for both.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You've got to look after the staff, haven't
Yeah.
you? Give them-
Well, both of them are, you know, they've been used by other people previously, and everybody's different.
Yeah, of course they are, yeah.
So,
And they're not ones that you can really adjust properly to your height and posture very easily. It's just the standard chair. isn't
Just a
it,
standard
really?
five-wheel office
So
chair.
if you have one that you can properly adjust, then it doesn't matter who's using it, you set it to your right height.
Yeah,
Gas has gone in the one I use.
Yeah, so
You
just
need a new
starts-
one.
As the day progresses,
Yeah.
It's like-
no, like I say, if we're
Yeah.
going to be purchasing, then we purchase two,
I'm agree with that.
Mhm.
because it's important that,
Yeah.
you know, you sit in an awful long while and you need it to be
You've got to be comfortable,
correct.
haven't you?
Can I propose a platform? I'll
Mm.
second that.
And do we have to go to the full council for that or not?
I suppose it's what you question to be an emergency.
I would, it's not a difficult thing, it's just a very quick thing. And
I mean,
would-
given it's next week, isn't it? So
Yeah, it's not.
it's next Monday, and then you can, if you find the ones you want, so they're ready to order as soon as it's been approved
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the full council, then we can get them sorted.
Okay. To agree payment arrangements for one of the owners of. You just done that, haven't you?
Well, we need just to make sure, we
See
need
how
to
long
give it a
lasts.
try
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see whether one of the people that is authorised to make a payment can do that and
Delay.
delay it.
Delay.
Yeah,
You should
so-
be able to set a date for payment, shouldn't you? I would have
You can
thought.
set the date for payment,
Yeah,
but it's how long once if you set it and it's due to go out, how long it stays there
Yeah,
for, that's the
Before
thing,
it's
isn't it?
authorised by the second person.
Yeah.
Barclays, I can't get a sensible answer out of Barclays.
So we're just going to have to try it and see
So
what
we'll have
happens.
to try it, yeah. So
Yeah.
who would, if I transfer, or if Isabel transfers £1 to whoever,
go for it.
Yeah. Would you like to receive an extra pound?
well, if you do that way, then when I process the salaries, I'll just deduct £1 off my salary, yeah?
Yeah, but we'll sort it out, we'll do it and then we'll know what it does then, won't we?
Yeah.
Right, could I have a proposer for that, please?
I
Yeah.
propose.
So,
Thank you. You agree to that, Isabel?
Yes.
update on budgets for the next financial year.
Mhm.
We have started, haven't we? Because
Mhm.
we did open spaces last week.
Mhm.
Rachel made it quite clear to me that she doesn't want to spend any other money apart from on trees. So the pump track and the cafe and leak toilets, she says she don't want to spend any council money because she wants to fund it all by grants.
But you can't fund all by grants
No,
because
I
you
don't
always
think we
got
would be
to
able
It's
to.
impossible.
And
Yeah.
I think the public have made it extremely clear, and Facebook and stuff like that, that that is what they would want their council tax to be spent on.
Yeah,
They want facilities for them, they want to see the benefits.
yeah.
They're not going to see the benefits of tree work, realistically.
No.
You've
we don't
got
fall
to
now.
start showing that we're doing something for them.
Oh yeah, I agree with
And it's always difficult when you've got big figures and stuff to put in, but it's got to be done. And I think we really got to look at when we're budgeting, when we're doing the increase, how much is actually increasing for each,
that.
not the percentage, because
Yeah,
it always is
so
a bit
like-
scary of 3%, 4%. But
Yeah.
actually, when you look at it,
So
it's
they
about
won't
a
pay
pound
well.
per
Yeah.
person. For a pump track, if they've
Yeah.
got to pay a pound each, it's benefiting them, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And as well, having done many a grant application, there is no way you will get the full amount. You have to put something in yourself.
Yeah.
And they specify different amounts depending on what the project is all about. So we have to allocate something to it, and then look to go out for the right grant
Yeah.
to top that up. So it may well be that you get the vast majority funded by a grant, but you have got to put something in the budget in the first
But the
place.
problem is, if we don't budget almost certainly the full amount, and then we don't get a grant, then you can't do the project, and then everybody's disappointed because you've got to wait a whole another year. But if you budget for the project, so the precept is reasonable, but then half of it comes back from grants, then you save some money, and the rest can then top up our reserves, which we really need to start doing.
Yeah, we do.
So if you over budget on larger projects like that, and then ultimately it costs less because you get grant funding, then that's going to solve our problem with our reserves in the end.
Yeah.
And then the project gets delivered, everybody's happy, all hunky-dory. So I think we're going to have to bite the bullet and start spending money, to be honest, because we need to deliver stuff for the public. So.
Oh, we've got the toilets, the cafe then, would we be able to get a grant for any of that?
If we put it together with the whole idea of doing inclusive play equipment,
Yeah.
because it's an
inclusive
inclusive toilet facility, then you could put it all together and make a grant application based on that. Again, you just got to prioritise what we feel is more important, and if we say we put 20,000 into the budget for next year for projects, and then depending on what we could actually deliver, we deliver one project next year, rather than specifying, it's definitely going to be X. If we put in a lump and say this is money for projects in general, because something else might come up that's more important. We don't know. Nobody knows what's going to be around the corner.
I can't foresee.
I mean, we've done it this year with the chapels because we put a lump in for the roof. So we've managed to do it for this year. So there should be no reason why we can't do the same for another year.
Yeah, you got it.
And just specify that it is for projects for the town, basically.
Well, I mean, hopefully going forward with the new purchase procedure and everything, we should start to see some
Well, if you
saving.
if you save in another area, I mean, we've done a lot of work already on saving with the IT and different things. We've kind of done an overhaul of all the different systems. If you start having more robust purchasing procedures and things like that, then you can budget more accurately, because what happens is, if you're not budgeting accurately, we normally end up with lump sums left at the end of the year, but you think, well, that could have been spent on a project and actually delivered something. We need to start, being a lot more robust and detailed.
It's like going back to play equipment. If somebody had sat down at the beginning and said, it's going to cost this for cement, it's going to cost this for hardcore, etc., etc.
Yeah, when we plan our projects and stuff, we need to be planning everything into it, so we've got an accurate budget of how much it's going to cost.
I mean, I can go off, if everybody's happy from the point of view of open spaces and finance, I can go off and start getting some prices in for various projects. Because then that's ready for me to go for a grant application anyhow. So I've got to have 3 quotes to be able to do a grant application. So if I start getting things together, then that can feed into the budgeting ready for precept. And whatever we feel is an appropriate figure, we can then feed into that.
Well, we've got our budget ready by January, haven't we?
So I can do that between now and then, so that we've got something concrete that we're working to.
I'm happy with
It has
that.
to be submitted in January and approved by council, so December we really need
that's
it
fine.
ready.
I'll start working on bits and pieces and get some costings together.
Good. So, agree to pay the countryside charity £36.
Did you find out what it
I
was?
sent you all an email, their email, and they send a magazine.
A magazine. And that's it.
What they do.
Oh, right. Do they spend the money on they're a charity presumably, so does it go into a pot and actually benefit people?
Yeah, projects for the countryside.
Right, but not projects for here.
No.
Personally, you know, I know it's only £36, but personally I can't see any point.
No.
No, I'd rather have £36 than spend it on
Yeah, it's
something that's for us.
it's not going to get us very far, but it's
No.
£36 towards
Yeah.
something,
Can't
isn't
make
it?
any
Yeah.
savings
You
now.
know.
You get 10 of those though, and it soon adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's rejected then.
Yeah, I propose we
Yeah.
don't.
Second?
Yeah.
The next one's agree to fund councillor attendance at the lab conference and AGM. Price is £27 per candidate.
I did try and have a look when I got back about what was actually on the AGM. What did they go through?
So,
There's a talk in the morning.
Because it was
isn't
on the
so
lab
talk in
website.
the morning, then there's a lunch, which our policy now, everyone agreed, wasn't paying for refreshments. So we would have to contact Lauk
We
and
would have
ask
to deduct the
deduct the
paper, right, that's
cost
fine,
off.
yeah.
It's £27.50.
For me, I don't see any benefit to the parish council.
No, because if you're
Yeah.
going to receive training or something like that,
Yeah.
but I didn't know, is there anything useful included in the day? or not?
I think there's a CCLA talk, and it's networking, and there's lots of leaflets there apparently.
But all this
But
is you can get
also,
online anyway.
if you had a request to go from a member that was also a member of another parish council as well,
Yeah.
how would you?
They'd have to split the costs. But unless it's,
And then there's
if it's
obviously
networking
travelling
and
on
things
top.
like that, it's more of a benefit for the individual councillor rather than the council as a whole, because
Yeah.
we're not receiving, I mean, it's a bit like when you do training, ultimately we should receive all of the leaflets and information,
Yeah.
so the whole council benefits.
Mhm.
But if there's not, I mean, for the CCLA, that's not,
There's no interest to the rest of us.
that's not
Is
going to be
it?
an interest to the council.
No.
That's more going to be an interest to you personally, but,
So
you
I'm going to propose that we don't fund it at all.
know, no.
I don't see the need really. I mean, the only way that you would actually get anything out of it is if that person, whoever went, came back and gave a full report as to what happened. But really, all they're going to talk about is what they do as an organisation.
Yeah.
It's not direct. We get that information in the newsletters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any benefit from going.
No. There's only one person asked to go anyway, isn't there?
And it says networking is a key part of what we all do. Workshops are coming together. Local council award scheme, wellbeing and engaging with young people. We have panellists confirmed for the question and answer session and various trade stands arranged. The sponsor is CCLA, who will give a short presentation at the start. The AGM, well, that's in the morning, and then the AGM is in the afternoon.
But I mean, networking is important and finding out stuff like that. But when they go back to doing the training sessions in person, you get to meet loads of different councils from different areas, and then you do networking whilst on the training course, which is a lot more beneficial for us. And you know, if there are certain councillors who are really wanting to go, then if it's only £27, it's not like an extortionate amount to fund it yourself if you really want to. Because it is more of a benefit to the individual rather than
It's
benefit
not
to the
just
council.
£27 though, is it? Because whoever go would
Fuel and
presumably want
everything.
fuel expenses.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll second that we don't.
Good.
Isabel?
Yeah, agreed.
Last but not least, items for discussion and agenda item requests.
Budget breakdown, one.
Mm.
And what was the other thing? Fuel account in Holby.
Yeah.
I'm sure something else will come up with all the meetings.
Yeah.
Leave all that out, can't
Yeah, I think that's everything for
we?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next meeting on the 4th of October then.
Mm-hmm.